Hey guys, welcome back to the Probate Nurse Podcast. It's our weekly podcast that we do on YouTube to introduce somebody that's working within the realm of the senior care industry here in the greater Tampa area. And whether you are downsizing, looking to be put into an assisted living facility, if you are looking to move out of state, this is your podcast for all the resources that are local and available to you here in the greater Tampa area. So today we have a really great guest with us today. Not only is she my friend, but she's also a business owner, and her name is Sharma, and she is the owner and senior care advisor, at Assisted Living Locators in North Tampa. So welcome to the show, T. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you taking time out. I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate it. I'm
Hey,
well.
thanks. Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us today. You are a plethora of information. You have such an incredible background, and I just wanted to kind of share with our audience members a little bit about your background and what made you segue into assisted living placement.
Yeah, it's an interesting road actually. I have been in finance for 37 years.
Wow.
I started in New York in Wall Street and kind of over time moved my way down to Tampa, and loved every minute of it. It was a great career. And I think I've always had a little bug in my head that told me that I needed to do something that was more meaningful.
Mhm.
I'm very fortunate, and people in my family, have always given back to the community as a whole. And so I felt like I needed to do that as well. In addition to the fact that when I was in my teens, I would volunteer every summer at a senior citizen center, and I loved working with seniors. And over time, I've seen sometimes how seniors are not treated well. They're not given the respect that they
Mhm.
deserve. And so I just felt like it was a little bit of a calling for me, not to sound kind of hokey, but it was a little bit of a calling. I did feel
Yeah.
like it was the right time. And I retired from my career last year and
Wonderful.
started this wonderful
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, congratulations. That is a huge step to take, especially coming from something like that. But our backgrounds really do play a lot into where we go for the next step into the next chapter of our lives. And it sounds like with that background that you had, that you're just destined, to do this kind of work. So I
Yeah, I
know.
would I would have to agree with that. I mean, I was always in kind of relationship building type
Mm.
services in finance, and I was a problem solver. If someone gave me a problem, I would fix it. I would solve it. Well, not always fix it, but
Yep.
try to come up with great
Yeah.
solutions. And so
Mm.
this translates into this new career that I have,
Yeah.
which I feel like I'm a problem solver.
Yep, you definitely are. Especially in this business, you need that capability, list making and making sure that you understand completely what your clients need and how you can help them out. So you have your background is absolutely perfect for this. So we know that, right now, assisted living and placement is so huge, especially baby boomers aging out and our elderly.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about some of the misconceptions that people have about assisted living or nursing homes.
Yeah, I mean, so many, right? And I'm sure you've been hearing it in
Yeah.
your line of work as well, but
Yep.
people feel like their independence is taken away from
Mm.
them. That is not a fact. In fact, they get more independence.
Yep.
People feel that they are, kind of just in one place, in one little room, and not socializing and not active. And that's quite the opposite. People feel like it's a
Mhm.
nursing home type environment, which I'm sure
Right.
you've heard as well. And it really isn't. And so I think that as these communities grow, as these assisted living communities grow, and they see the needs of the residents, they will continually offer more and more
Mhm.
services. But right now, there are a huge amount of services that they offer our seniors to thrive in their later
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, they sure do. We know that just by attending the meetings that we go to,
Yes.
and people like yourself get to stand up and introduce yourselves. But they're also the meetings take place actually at the assisted living center, so we get to see exactly what's going on and how the
Exactly.
clientele are living, what they're eating, and what their dining rooms look like. It's really nice to see all that going on. It's
Yeah,
really
exactly.
It's not our parents' deal anymore. It's completely different, isn't it? It really, really is. So what exactly is senior living? How would you define that?
Oh, senior living, gosh, I mean, it just runs the gamut of so many different things, right? So, we can have independent living, which is, hey, let's move to an apartment and make it our own. And
Mm,
there's meals if you want to participate in the meals, but if you don't, you have a kitchen, you have a microwave, you have all that you need to make your own meals. In fact, some families that I've moved into, some communities, independent living communities, they host Thanksgiving dinner at their house, at their apartment, because
wow.
they can make a turkey in their oven, right? I mean, it is that
Amazing.
right, it's that
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
And then you have situations in which, okay, well, maybe you need a little bit more assistance, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you need someone just to kind of keep eyes on you,
Yeah.
make sure that whatever needs and evolving needs that you have are
Mm.
met. And so that's where assisted living comes into
Mhm.
play, in which you have like levels of care. And the good thing is it's not one size fits all, right? It
Sure.
is level one, what do you need?
Mm.
And to the highest level, which is what are your highest needs?
Hmm.
And then you have memory care, which is okay, perhaps their
Mm.
needs are very high,
Sure.
perhaps there are an elopement risk, and they might
Mm.
wander, they might leave the premises, so it's a
Sure.
secured environment. And their food is a little bit different. Maybe they can't swallow or
Mm.
chew, so it's a little bit softer. So all of those things are taken into consideration
Sure.
when it comes to senior living. And what you see now is the communities again are looking at what is happening in the world of seniors, right? So maybe someone is high functioning and does not need memory care 100%. And so some
Sure.
communities have what's called transitional memory care, right?
Oh,
Which is
okay.
high functioning, and you can't really be in assisted
Yeah.
living because maybe you are a little bit of an elopement risk,
I
but
got
you
it.
can
Okay.
still carry through and you can have conversations and you can talk
Mhm.
to people. So we do see that as communities
Mm.
are trying to meet the evolving needs of our seniors.
Sure. That's amazing. And so for people who don't know what elopement means in a memory care center, what exactly is that?
Elopement essentially means someone who can wander out the front door, right? Because at the assisted living communities, the door's
Mm.
unlocked. You can come and go as you please.
Yeah.
But if you are a wanderer, then you need to be in a secure environment where you
Yes.
cannot just walk out the door, because this is oftentimes why many people do come to memory care, is because they have wandered in their neighborhood outside their homes and their
Absolutely.
families have had a difficult
Hmm.
time finding them, or their
Hmm.
neighbors haven't seen them. So sometimes this is why they're in memory care.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen that too. And I know being a nurse too, the sundowner syndrome, they're wandering at night, you know?
Yes.
So yeah,
They
that
get
can be pretty scary.
agitated, right? And the
Yeah.
great thing about memory care is, the caregivers there are trained, right? They are
Hmm.
trained in dementia
Hmm.
care. They
Sure.
often give, gentle reminders. They know how to
Mm.
redirect. So this is all of these communities that have caregivers that
Mhm.
know exactly who their residents are and what they need.
Mhm.
And then that's the beautiful thing about it, because you as a
Yes.
family member, so many family members get agitated at their parents or loved ones
Mm.
because they don't understand.
Yeah, they
They don't
don't.
understand why mom and dad are asking the same question over and over again.
Right. Right. And after a little
But
time there, it even progresses more.
right.
So
But the
that
caregivers do, the
frustration.
caregivers understand, and so
Mhm.
they do know how to redirect and to take care of those needs.
That's awesome. So we're going to segue right into this because I think this is so important. What are the benefits of using a senior living care advisor such as yourself?
Oh, well, so many great benefits. For one, just to tell you a little bit about,
Mm.
our company, we are a franchise, right? And
Mhm.
that means that we have franchisees all over the United States. And this franchise was started by a nurse 20 years
Mm.
ago who
Wow.
saw the need for this type of work.
Mhm.
And I would speak to, and I don't like to call them clients,
Mhm.
because their loved ones, right?
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
people's family members.
Yes.
So the families that I work with, I would provide a full intake. I mean, I would go there and meet with them wherever I can. Oftentimes it's at a rehab or it's at a hospital. If I
Mhm.
can in their homes, I would meet them in their homes. And I would do a full intake with them and
Okay.
basically figure out what their needs are, right?
Sure.
What are their physical needs? What are their
Mhm.
emotional needs? What are their location needs? What are their budgetary needs?
Mhm.
And because we as senior care advisors are so deeply embedded in our community,
Mm.
we know the communities, right?
Yes, you
Um,
do.
I am in North Tampa, and when
Yeah.
I first started this business, what did I do? I visited every community in my area to make sure that I knew what I was
Yeah.
recommending.
Yeah.
I would never point someone to some place that I have
Mm.
not visited, right? Because then
Right.
what do I know about that? All I know
Mhm.
is what I see on a website or maybe a phone conversation.
Sure.
Because when you walk into a community, there is a feeling. It's like buying a house.
Mm.
You walk into a
Sure.
house and you know if this is the house and you
Yep.
know if this is not the house, right?
Yes, you do. It's a vibe.
Same goes with community. And
Yeah.
so I try to give a very personalized approach to all of the families that I work with. And
Mm.
so the benefit of using a senior care advisor is
Mm.
that personal
Mm.
touch that you get in that they
I love
know
it.
that when I recommend a community, and to be honest, I will only recommend about 3 because after that it gets very
Mhm.
confusing for
Sure.
families.
Sure.
When I recommended to communities, I've
Mm.
walked it, I've spoken to the people there, I've looked at the faces of the
Yep.
residents, and I know if they're
Sure.
happy or if they're not. And
Mhm.
and maybe I've placed people there,
Mhm.
right? And I follow up
Sure.
with them, so I know how they feel and I know how it's going. So I think that's one of the benefits is that we are aware of all of the communities and what they
Mhm.
offer because they each offer different and unique things as well. And we want to be able to match that to our loved ones that we're working with.
Mhm. Yep, I so agree with that. They all have different amenities, indoor, outdoor, whatever your level of care is. I mean, it's
Like,
absolutely beautiful that you can actually do that. And so do you take people on tours?
I
Obviously, you're
would
going to walk
absolutely,
them.
yep,
Okay.
I would absolutely tour with them.
Okay.
Um, every once
Nice.
in a while you get a rogue family that says, I've got this. I've got this. I'll do it. But what
Sure.
do? Then they then call you up and then they realize that you should have gone with them. But yes, I do tour
Yeah.
with each of the families. I help them understand.
Mhm.
I let them have the conversation with the community. But what I do
Mm.
beforehand when I do speak with them and spend time with them is I give them a list of questions so that they
Mm.
feel like they have control over the situation.
Sure.
So here are a list of questions that you should be asking the communities. Here are a list of things that you should be looking for.
Mhm.
And so that way they feel very comfortable
Mhm.
with what they have to ask, and they also feel comfortable because they know they have me there. And if there
Mhm.
are any kind of anything that you miss, I can always kind of jump in and fill in the blanks, so to
Yeah.
speak.
It's like a personal guide. So give me an example of a couple of different questions that you would want your clients to ask as you're touring through. Something that you feel is really important.
Well, I mean, activities. So that's a big question for some of the families. What
Mm.
are the activities?
Okay.
And doctor's appointments. Do you take them to doctor's appointments?
Mm.
Is there a bus? How far do you go?
Okay.
Can they go to the store to pick up some of the things that they want? Um, I had someone I was working with. She was a lovely lady, and she wanted to make sure that there was a happy hour at
I
the place
love
that
it.
she was going to. She said, I want to make
That's
sure
so
there's
cute.
lots of male residents and there's happy hours. So I
I
said, well,
love
let's make sure
it.
we ask those questions. So yeah, the number of questions that they have are so broad. You need to fine tune it a little bit. But what I find is with the families is once they have those guidelines of questions
Yeah.
and they start feeling comfortable, then they start asking more questions
Mhm.
that are just very, very specific to their parents that they haven't even brought to my attention because they felt
Mhm.
they feel more comfortable kind of putting
Sure.
it out there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And there's so many things that they wouldn't even think about asking, like you mentioned. What happens if you need to go to a doctor visit or have to go out? What happens? And those are things that people probably don't really necessarily know about. So that's fantastic advice. That's really, really good. I
Yeah,
love
I mean,
that.
oftentimes people think it's just a bed in a space
Mhm.
with people looking over. And it's more
Exactly.
than that. It's more than that. It's so much
Mm.
more of a, environment in which people are thriving,
Yes, they
right?
are.
I mean,
Yeah.
the way I live, I want my parents to live that way
Mhm.
in their 70s and 80s and 90s, right?
That's
Because they
right.
can. If they can, they should. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so it's so much more than that.
It's so different. It has changed so much, and it's absolutely amazing what you see when you walk through these buildings. They're beautiful. Really, it's a
Yeah.
whole new world
And
out there, you
and you
know?
and I both know when we go to these communities, we're like, huh, I like
Hmm.
that room. You almost
Yeah.
pick out some place for
Yeah.
yourself
You're like, oh, that
at
food
some
looks
point in
really
time.
good over there. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Yes.
another question, dietary concerns. What are your
Hmm.
dietary needs, right? I mean, that's something
Sure.
that we should discuss because so many people
Hmm.
have allergies, so
Hmm.
many people don't eat certain things. So we want to
Yeah.
make sure that we
Hmm.
have all of that discussion as well.
Yeah. Medical restrictions and whatnot. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So you can identify all of that with your intake tool. So I definitely want to ask you, on your site, on the assisted living site, you mentioned an assessment tool. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have an assessment tool that asks, very basic questions because ultimately,
Mm.
I want to have the one-on-one conversation, right? I want to speak with them
Sure.
face to face and talk to them. So, right, the questions are, what are your health needs? Um, are you diabetic? If you are, do you take needles? Do you
Mm.
do you have, is it diet that helps you with your diabetes? Is it a pill?
Sure.
Are you mobile? Are you in a wheelchair? Do you use a walker? So it really is more about, let's figure out what your needs are and which communities can help with those needs, right? Because,
Sure.
like we said, not everything fits. And
Sure.
so the intake is
Mm.
very, very important to make sure that we kind of, and sometimes you have to have more than one intake, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes they forget, and then you have another conversation
Yeah.
and you have another conversation and you find out more
Mm.
things. Or people are not always willing to talk about some of their health needs, right? They're a little embarrassed. And so you have to kind of just continually have that conversation and probe a little bit to be able to get to
Mhm.
exactly what is required. Because it's also important when you go to the communities and you're representing the family, you want to
Mm.
be able to say, okay, this is the profile of
Mhm.
this person, this is what they need.
Yeah.
Um, and they know exactly when you go there with them that, yes,
Mm.
we can help them. And let me tell them a little bit about our community so that at that
Mhm.
point in time, it's more about, is it a good fit for them?
Mhm. I really like that. What a fantastic assessment tool. So if you guys are looking to get an idea about how to figure out where you're going to put mom or dad or sibling or whatnot, I would definitely push you to check this out on the Assisted Living Locators site, and at least kind of get an idea of what this assessment tool can do for you and your family in terms of placing. I think that's wonderful. Being a nurse for over 30 years now, I hate to even say it, but over 30 years, it is kind of like giving a report at the end of the shift. Hey, I've got a client here. This is what
Yes.
I need. I think that's amazing. What a great tool.
Yeah, and I think that because it
Wow.
was, our franchise was founded
Mm.
by a nurse, she
Mhm.
understands the importance of the intake, and so she designed that, and she
Mm.
continually fine tunes it based on all of the feedback that she gets
Mhm.
from her franchisees across the country.
Sure.
And when we talk about the franchise, right? I don't want anyone to think that because it's a franchise, it's so big.
Sure.
The idea is it's personalized, right? The idea
Yeah.
is if I send someone over who wants to move, say,
Mhm.
Massachusetts, for example, I
Mhm.
know that that person who is in Massachusetts knows her communities or his communities, and they do the exact same type of
Sure.
intake and the exact same hands-on, boots on the ground work that I
Mhm.
would do. And
Yeah.
it's not just, there's a community, they look
Right.
good online and go to them, right? It's more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, definitely like continuity of what is going on within the realm. No matter who you call or what state you're in, you're going to get the same consistency. And I think that's fabulous.
Exactly. Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
who knows what's going on in the community and in every single community that they walk through. I think that's wonderful. All right. So yeah, we talked a little bit about medical care, which is amazing, the different levels. So I guess one of the questions that might kind of reside inside somebody's head is, how can I afford this? You know, can you talk to us a little bit about payment and how that's taken care of and maybe the differences in the different levels of care and how much that would be?
Yeah. So the payment, unfortunately, we don't have things like Medicare or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
that would cover the cost
Okay.
of assisted living.
That's-
But we have
Mm,
people generally use private pay.
okay.
So from their social security, they would
Okay.
put towards it. If they have annuities, that would help put towards it. Things like, 401ks and all of those things that they
Sure.
have in their estate
Okay.
would help towards their care. If you're a veteran, you can have things like aid and
Mm,
attendance, not only for
mm.
the veteran, but also the spouse of the veteran.
Wow.
So there are some
Really
facets
nice.
in, and of course, long-term care insurance, that's always there. If some people are fortunate enough to get it
Yeah.
when they needed to.
Yeah.
Long-term care insurance is there for that. So that's
Mhm.
also when we talk about budget, we do talk about how are
Okay.
you able to afford this care? What can
Mhm.
we do? How can we help you? Many
Mhm.
people don't know they can use veterans benefits, right? So that's something
Right.
that we help them navigate, and we have
Mhm.
partners in place. When we go to meet all of our different partners, such as yourself,
Mhm.
we know that we have partners that can help with veterans
Sure.
aid and attendance. And so we can
Mhm.
kind of work with them to help our families as well.
Yeah, I
So,
love that.
yeah, I mean, at this point in time, a lot of it
Mm.
tends to be more on private pay type
Okay.
space.
Okay. And if you're lucky enough and blessed enough to have those assets, you can liquidate them with the correct financial advisors, your
Correct.
401k advisors and whatnot. They can kind of maybe help you with like a monthly payment plan and how much you would need to draw. That's what it sounds like to me. So that's
Exactly.
great.
And selling your home
Yeah.
and things like that. And,
Yep.
oftentimes I've worked with family where the
Hmm.
kids help, right?
Hmm.
They have a few kids and they say, okay, we'll
Mm.
help with mom and dad, and they kind
That's
of fill in
great.
what's needed. So, that's
Mm.
always when families are,
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
If you're fortunate enough to have that, that's
fortunate enough.
wonderful.
Yeah, your kids can help out as well.
Absolutely. And, in ourselves too, like we don't ever know what we're going to find when we go into somebody's home. We obviously handle the real estate aspect of dealing with clients like yours that need to be placed. And, I'm so thankful and so fortunate to have met you and, working together with clients and figuring out how we're going to get them, from here, from point A to point B. And we typically work with families after someone has passed away, and then we're looking at the remainder person and what their needs
Right.
are. So here comes the assessment tool, right? Figuring out exactly what those clients need. Do they need assisted living, home care, aging in place? What is it? So it's
Right.
quite the network that we have going on
It
here.
is. It
It
is.
feels
And I think that, yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's just wonderful that we can surround ourselves with great referral partners like yourself, because now I know that, being in this industry now for just over a year, really, knowing who we can call and pick up the phone and just say, hey, I need your help. We've got someone to place. I think it's fantastic.
Really, and honestly, the
Love it.
families are so overwhelmed, right? The families are
Oh, oh,
overwhelmed with just the
mm,
one thing that they have to do. And so
absolutely.
they say, well, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? And so,
Mm,
yeah, our referral partners are so important,
mhm.
because they're
Yeah, they
also a
are.
reflection of us, right? So,
Yes.
I make sure that I surround myself with the very best
Mhm.
people who have the same mission and goals as I
Yeah,
do with,
that's
helping
right.
these families.
Mm,
And so that's how I utilize my referral partners, is I make sure that they do also give that
yeah.
personalized touch.
Yeah, we have such a wonderful senior resource community. We really do here in Greater Tampa. It's
You.
it's quite amazing. And
Yes, yes.
everyone in that business has a reason for doing it, which, which I did myself as well with losing family members. And you're guided, and so it's just wonderful. So can you share a success story? I know you have many, but give me one that really jumps out in your mind, somewhere where you really helped somebody significantly with the placement.
Oh gosh, there are a few, but
Yes.
one that comes to mind recently is actually kind of cute. Someone this lovely lady, she sold her home, and well, she was in the process of selling her home,
Mm.
and she was in a rehab, and she she was kind of really down in the dumps. So
Mm.
I really didn't want to go to assisted living, but of course she needed it at the time, right? So
Yeah.
so I spent so much time with her and found a lovely place for her. And she started going to therapy there. And she started just getting stronger and stronger to the
Oh,
point where she really didn't even need it anymore. She didn't need assisted
no
living, right?
kidding.
But she didn't want to cook. She didn't want to clean.
Mm.
So she wanted some
Yeah,
senior living, but she just
sure.
didn't want the assisted living. So we kind of worked together and found a lovely independent living place for her.
Mm.
Um, and she moved in and she was ecstatic. She loved it. And she met someone there. And it's
I
the
love
cutest thing
it.
because she met someone there and she's just over the moon because they
Oh,
have dinner together, they do things, and he has a car, she gave up her car,
oh
so they
my.
together. And that was something that she did not even see coming. She did not, it wasn't even her realm of thinking that there was a possibility that she would meet someone there.
Oh, I
um
love it.
she came out of rehab and she was like, oh, I'm going to be in assisted living. And it's just like she pushed herself through rehab, right? She pushed herself through therapy, and she got stronger. And now she's in a situation in which she's so glad she sold her home
I bet.
because right now she doesn't pay property taxes, she doesn't pay light bills, electric bill, none of that. All she has to
Wow.
do is hang around with her partner and have a good time. And so that makes me happy. And I love visiting them because they're adorable together.
Oh, I love it. You just
And
never know.
I'm pretty sure they're going to move in together soon, but we'll see.
That is absolutely adorable. Like, what a great story. Is that uncommon to see that? I mean, that's amazing. I mean, you're not really
That,
looking for it, but you never know.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the first of that I've seen, which kind of makes me chuckle and makes me happy. So I'm
So
hoping I see more.
sweet.
I hope I see more of that.
That is so sweet. I hope you see more of it too, and you never know. You never
Yeah,
know,
but
especially in the independent living. How awesome is that?
right. And it just goes to show, how the transitions are, right? I mean, you can,
Yeah.
and the communities work with you, right?
Yes.
They know you
Yes.
need therapy, and
Love
they
it.
have on-site therapists, or you can bring in
Hmm.
your own. And
Hmm.
as long as you're willing and able and try,
Sure.
you can really get
Hmm.
stronger and put
Hmm.
yourself in a different environment. And then there's some independent living communities that you can be very independent,
Hmm.
and they can, if you need help over time, they can bring the help in because some people don't actually want to move, and they can bring the help in, and then
Wow.
you can kind of get like assisted living in a sense and stay in your apartment. So,
Okay.
that's why we talk about the different
Hmm.
transitions and how it's so
Sure.
important for senior care advisors to kind of be involved because
Hmm.
people don't know these things.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. What
Always
a
don't
great
know this.
story. What a
Yeah.
great story. I absolutely love
And
that.
her daughter loves it. Her daughter
I
chuckles at it.
bet.
And, we talk,
Oh,
one of the things that I didn't see coming, with doing this is that I would be sort of like a daughter, a sister. I thought I
yeah.
was helping, seniors, but like I'm becoming like a big sister or a little sister because
Yes.
oftentimes you are helping
Hmm.
the children more than you are the parents,
Really
right?
are.
Because the
They really
children are the
are.
ones that are kind of navigating through this
Yeah.
process. So
Yeah, they're
it's been a
navigating through the
nice
journey
focus.
and they need your assistance, same thing with what we do, helping clients with probate cases and things like that. They really look to you. So you do
Right.
become family. You really
Yeah.
do. So
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. I love that story.
Yeah.
That is so cute. It
Yeah.
gives me hope.
Yeah.
As a single woman.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so precious. I absolutely love that. So looking ahead, we know that a lot of boomers are aging out. We kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier. What do you see as the landscape of senior living in the coming years? What do you see that's going to change? And fill us in a little bit on that.
What I hope changes is that people start going in a little bit earlier, right?
Okay.
Because I find that oftentimes families are not moving until they absolutely need it, or they suffer a fall, or something bad happens, and
Sure.
then they go in the communities, and then they need, the physical
Mm-hmm.
help. So my hope is that and the communities offer it, right? They offer the independence, they offer the
Mm-hmm.
the activities and everything. So my hope is that we can try to bring in people a little bit younger to
Sure.
come in so they can really, really enjoy all that has to offer there. Sometimes I like to think of it as like a dorm type environment. I mean,
How
I don't
fun.
know if you remember living in the dorms in college, but it was a lot of fun. It was
It's
fun.
fun. It's like a
So
new lease on life. I love it. Absolutely love
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So the socialization is so important
Mm-hmm.
to keep people kind of, cognitively high functioning, happier,
Mm-hmm.
healthier. And so I hope that
Yeah.
to be honest, the infrastructure is there. We just need to
Mhm.
figure out ways to bring people in a little bit earlier,
Sure.
not in their
Yeah.
80s and 90s, right?
Yeah. That's really great suggestion. It's something I hadn't really thought of, because again, people do wait till the very last minute. So that's great. So I guess a lot of community education, touring, finding out where you are, and that assessment tool, even for
Exactly.
ourselves to figure out, what it is. It's all part of our estate planning. What is it that you need and what you would like? And, I want independent living as much as you do. And having a community of people around me, that's such a bonus. You're never really alone. It's great. I really
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. And they become your best friends. They become your
Yeah,
family as well.
they really
Um,
do.
the person that I told you about that
I
had the
love it.
Thanksgiving dinner, they invited people in the community to their Thanksgiving dinner, not just their kids, right?
So
So
cool.
I was so excited when I saw that. I was like, this is great.
I love it. It just makes you, it's brings joy. It's so great. It's like you're living in your own home, which you really essentially are.
We
It's
are.
your new
Yeah.
home, you know,
Hmm.
like a little condo. I think it's so great. So Assisted Living Locators is a franchise. So if someone that's watching the podcast today is interested in joining you, whether it's here in Florida or elsewhere, can you tell us a little bit about that, how that works?
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I when I wanted to do this, I bought the franchise is because the guidance and the experience behind it. As I said, I came from 37 years of finance, so I wanted everyone to know that when I was doing this, right,
Mm-hmm.
I am well equipped to do this. And not only is it my love and my desire,
Right.
but I also have sort of, the bones of it. And
Sure.
so, you are mandated to be a certified senior advisor, which is a national certification.
Okay.
You are mandated to have dementia care certification,
Mm,
because the
mm.
franchise wants to know that you are well equipped to work with these families. So you go through a very rigorous assessment process. It's about a 3 to 6 month process in which
Wow.
they really give you, you have to take a test, you have to do an assessment, you go through a series of interviews. So they are very selective about
Sure.
their franchisees.
Mhm.
And I would say if anyone is interested in this line of
Mhm.
work, this is a great company because you get the support you need. You get
Mm.
the when I have difficult families that have difficult circumstances, I have the assistance of franchisees around the country that I can talk to find
Mhm.
out, how they handled it and
Mhm.
what would work for us. So, this is all kind of, part of the franchise, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Really, really love the continuity. So after all this wonderful information, how can people find you online?
Well, if you Google Assisted Living Locators North Tampa, you will see my website, which is assistedlivinglocatorsnorthtampa.com.
Okay.
You can also contact me via my phone, which is 813-906-5664. I am on Facebook, Assisted Living Locators North Tampa. I'm on Instagram, Assisted Living Locators _in Tampa. I am on YouTube, although I need to do a little bit more work on my YouTube page. But I am on YouTube. So if you Google Assisted Living Locators North Tampa, you will see all of my information, and you can contact me there.
I love it. Well, thank you so very much for giving us such an insightful foray into assisted living locators. Thank you so much for joining us today, T. Really appreciate you being here again, everybody. Our special guest today was T. Sharma. She is a senior care advisor with Assisted Living Locators North Tampa. Please feel free to reach out to her anytime if you have got questions with your family and you need a little bit of assistance and you want to check out that wonderful assessment tool. Please give her a call, reach out to her on her website, or email her. And thank you everyone for tuning into the Probate Nurse Podcast. Again, we drop a new video every single Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you again, T. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.